let's see if we can do the Gold Room above the Gold Bar in the Goldfields with Pat Hill. What do you reckon?
I love it, mate. I love it.
Awesome.
What do you say we go?
Let's get into it, mate.
Fucking oath.
All right.
Let's go. Well, Hilly, we made it.
We made it.
Pat, thanks very much for joining us here at the Palace Hotel in the Goldfields.
It's fantastic.
Welcome back to the podcast, The Gold Room. As this is a very auspicious occasion, as you can see, we're leading into Christmas with the decor and the costumes, and we are on one of our last series for this year, for 2025, but also the auspicious occasion is we are 365 days into the Gold Room podcast, which is a fantastic and momentous event.
Amazing milestone, Hilly. Can't believe we got here.
I can't. And what a trip it's been.
Sure
What an absolute ball it's been. You've had drillers and suppliers and doctors and scientists and geologists, everyone on the show. What a great way to set up your inaugural year, JC.
Yep. For me, what a hell of a year. Awesome. I'm glad that, we could get you back. We had, you were the first guest on the show and I was sitting here. We
Right
didn't
there.
really know what the heck we were bloody doing back then. Still don't really know what we're
We've
what
come a
we're
long
doing.
way.
But when I called you up and said, mate, we're going to have a 1 year birthday. What are we going to do? Come into the studio. It's bloody Christmas. It's the 5th of bloody December.
I know. Where's it gone?
Oh, really bloody quickly. What have you been doing this year?
Well, hasn't been a great year
Yeah.
for myself personally. Lost both my parents to old age.
Yeah, that's
God bless their
Within
souls.
2 weeks of each other.
Within 2 weeks.
Wild.
They'd been together for over 70 years. That just occurred in September, October.
Yeah.
Bit of a downer, a big downer, but, as they taught us, you just got to go through these battles and move on.
Bloody oath.
Done a lot of different work and carrying on my career and work in the mining industry, which has been fantastic. And you've been up to a lot. I heard on the overland conveyor grapevine
Really?
that you done something quite amazing in terms of supplying one of your clients through your company CTL Australia. What happened there?
There's been a few, but
Yeah, I know.
are
There's
you
one in particular.
you're referring to the trip to Europe.
I am, mate. I am.
The client called up. It was pretty simple. Client called up and said, we need these filters, specific filters for our mill lube system. And I said, okay, tell me what they are. I'll get them for you. And they said, well, we've waited 4.5 months through our current supplier.
Yep.
And I said, 4.5 months? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I called up, found out where they were, and it turns out that they were available in Europe, but they weren't available in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So I
You didn't.
ordered them. I ordered them,
Yeah.
and I looked at what it was going to cost to fly them over here. It was $3,800,
And the time, I guess.
but it was like 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, right.
And I'd promised me
Client.
client that look, give me 10 days. I couldn't do 10 days. I could do 14, and I flew. I'd never been to Europe before, and I flew to. I've traveled the world, but around the world, but never been to Europe. So I flew 23 hours, landed in London, landed in Heathrow. It was 20 hours in London.
In London, yeah.
And 24 hours back. Landed at Perth Airport and 10 past 12 in the morning. By the time I get out and back to the office, it was about 1:15.
Yep. In the morning?
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I filled up a thermos of coffee, had a quick shower, packed up 10 of these. I bought 16 of these filters back.
How many did they need?
They needed 10.
Yeah,
but I
right,
just said to them, look,
Good move.
what we do is we're not just going to ship boxes.
No.
We're going to store stock for you. So when you need it again, we've got it.
We've got it on the shelf.
And service in this country leaves a little bit to be desired, and I didn't want to run a business like that. So I just drove it to bloody drove it to Kalgoorlie ready for their shutdown.
Yeah, so the rumours are true then.
Yeah, that was fun. I was buggered when I bothered, and so I drove all the way there, turned around, drove back, and I walked in the front door, and the staff were like, "Are you all right? You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm bloody buggered." So I slept on the couch out the front. Anyone who's been here knows this nice little couch. I've slept on it a few times, and but one of the sales staff said, "Josh, we've just had X amount of sales pushed through from some quotes that we had in the system." So from that client, they obviously really appreciated the service, and I think that goes a long way.
It does, yeah. When companies are desperate for something, if they can call up someone reliable, knowing that they're going to give it their all, that's the main thing, I guess. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks very much, mate. Who told you that? Where'd you hear that?
No, I can't tell you.
Okay, there's a lot of things
around the traps.
Well, mate, as I said to you. In the first episode, we spoke about your amazing family history. And if anyone hasn't seen that first initial Gold Room episode, go back and have a look, because it's just packed with blood. When I've gone back and had a look at it, I think, we had no literally idea what we were doing, but we were winging it and we had some fun. You took the piss out of me as per usual. It's great. But two things I want to do, mate. I want to get Patrick Hill on the Gold Room podcast.
Right? I was thinking that earlier, actually, because we're thinking about who we might have on our 1 year anniversary episode or that series. Yep. So
let's get him on.
All right. Well,
the other thing. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
That's what I do. The other thing I want to do.
Well,
I don't. So we don't drink bloody bevies on this show.
No.
We did have a couple in the early stages, but. Decided to change tack because I wanted to get some ripper bloody guests on from the government, and we have. And I just thought if we, coffees and a few bloody waters, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
A few energy drinks here and there, but it's the bloody 1 year anniversary. Like to go 1 year doing, anyone who's ever filmed a podcast knows how difficult it is. There's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes. It's not just film and upload it. There's editing. There's a bit of a task involved. We've got amazing bloody work from bloody Dimitri. He's a legend. He needs a sing out.
He needs a pay rise.
He fucking oh, sorry. He does. But I mean, it'd be nice if I got $1. So anyway,
what are you thinking?
I reckon we take the Gold Room to the Goldfields.
Well, yeah, that's apt. I mean, it's the centre of gold mining. It's the Gold Room.
What do you reckon?
You got a location?
I was thinking about calling up bloody Ashok and Marie at the Palace Hotel.
Sure.
And seeing if we could wrangle the Gold Room
above
the Gold Bar. I've never been to the Gold Bar.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. No. Gold Bar's not really a place for
reputable young men.
Absolutely not.
But I like your thinking. I think that's a great idea. I can try and get hold of Pat. He's as you know, quite busy. He's got a lot of things going on. But I'll give him a call and let's see if we can do the Gold Room above the Gold Bar in the Goldfields with Pat Hill. What do you reckon?
I love it, mate. I love it. Before we drive away into the bloody yonder, I also want to say a massive thank you to Mega Resources who have just jumped on board. When Josh Connolly called me up and said, "We love what you're doing for the industry," and I was just like, That's powerful. That's amazing. And we're just plodding along and getting some awesome guests on, and to get a phone call like that to say what can we do to help you out? And I said, far out, help me pay bloody Dimitri's wages and this
doesn't come cheap. Yeah, that's great.
So
great sponsorship.
Great sponsorship. Can't speak highly above them. If you need a bloody mining contractor that does absolutely everything, they've got all their geologists, they've got an amazing team, they've got trucks and graders and water carts and diggers, and all you got to do is jump on and have a look at their LinkedIn. They're doing amazing things in the industry. They're working together. They've got some awesome joint ventures going on. What an amazing team, amazing people to work with. Thank you very much, Mega.
Awesome.
What do you say we go?
Let's get into it, mate.
Fucking oath.
All right.
Go! Well, Hilly, we made it.
We made it.
Pat, thanks very much for joining us here at the Palace Hotel in the Goldfields.
It's fantastic. Great to be here. We got down here this morning from uptown, downtown LA and Laverton there. And, and it's terrific to be here with you.
Beautiful, mate. Hilly, thanks for making the bloody journey with me, mate.
Nah, couldn't miss it for the world.
Look,
JC?
we've got Christmas around the corner, and I thought you were the first episode, as we said earlier, and I'm pretty bloody chuffed to get your brother on to talk about your history, the hill history, some history of the bloody Goldfields, mate. You'll be able to run us through that.
No worries, mate. No worries. We'll do our best.
Well, Paddy, we always start with the life and the times, so rip into it for us, mate.
Well, I go back as far as I go back. We were up in Bandya Station when I grew up there with my parents and with my other siblings. There's 8 of us kids, and I'm one of 8. And Dad's one of 8, and Mum's one of 8, so we come from a big family. So so prior to that, though, the Hill family's been involved and associated with the Goldfields right back to about 1894 when our great-grandfather came across over here and he started a transport business at Kalgoorlie. I'd taken mining equipment from the railway then up to Darlow and camel trains, and that was the first thing. And then he got into the gold business and started at he had about 80 head battery going at Murrin Mine, the Murrin Mine for gold, about 300 people working for him. And then he sold all out and that in the early 1900s, and then went for about 3 world trips and dropped into Canada and saw relations there and England and come back to Australia. Then he bought Bandya Station, and Bandya Station's about 130k north of Laverton. And also
And that's where you grew up?
That's where I grew up. Yeah, my father grew up,
I was knee-high to a grasshopper, JC, when I left. But no, the family did, for sure, the 7 older brothers and sisters. So, yeah.
And the old grandfather, he set it up as predominantly as a cattle station, and had that. Well, he died up there in the property. Then Dad's father, our grandfather took over, Horace Hill. He got married to Dorothy Lay, who was in Laverton, and their parents owned the Palace Hotel in Laverton. So anyway, they were out there till about 1953. I think Grandfather Hill was out there where he died out there in Bandya Station while Dad was away, Peter Hill, away in National Service. So once his father died, Dad come home, or my father then come home to run the property, and during that time, he was out there. He bought a brand new Gold Flash 650 twin-cylinder motorbike, and used to do the run.
I seen that the other day. That's the one I see.
That's it. Yeah. Used to have quite a few runs into town. There was this young girl that came up from Orabanda, which is now my mother, or used to be my mother, and for 6 weeks to help out with the post office there to run the telephone exchange up there for the Sullivans, who owned the post office at the time in Laverton. And 65 years later, she went out. So well, they both. She came up about 23. Yeah, they're both married at 23.
Married for nearly 70 years.
Yeah.
Wasn't it two weeks off their 70th?
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes,
it was, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks off their 70th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that's right.
Married at the church.
Yeah, in the church, and
in Kalgoorlie there.
Had the reception in the church. Yeah, for Mum and Dad. Both of them died within a fortnight of each other. 92 they were. Mum's birthday was on Anzac Day, and Dad's was at the end of March. But when they got married, the family, once Dad's father passed away, Dad's mother wanted to move to Perth. She couldn't, she found it pretty hard out there. So so what happened? It was left to the family, the grandfather's brothers and sisters. So they put a manager out there for about 18 months, and I think they spent quite a bit of dollars. And in the meantime, prior to Dad's father dying or passing away, him and his father went out and took up the pastoral station of Lake Wells. This was back about 1950, early 1950 it was. And anyway, so Dad still had that pastoral property out there at Lake Wells. So when they got married, he had bought a old Series 1 Land Rover and a 2-ton Austin truck and a Wabco boring plant. And he went out there with Mum. They lived in a tent for 18 months, and that's when I was born.
That's why Patrick never closes the doors, mate.
Hey.
He was born in a tent.
Anyway.
Born in a tent, Paddy?
No,
I was born in St John of God's in Kalgoorlie.
Oh, okay,
but went up there.
Cheeky. The younger ones are always cheeky.
Yeah. My younger sister Eleanor was also born up there too. So, but we're looking through, since the passing, a lot of letters that Mum wrote to her mother at Orabanda has come to the surface. They've still got them. And
was she happy about being out there?
Oh, she's saying about, Peter's out there with the Wabco boring plant, boring, holes and getting waters, and done a fence and done a couple of holding paddocks. And one in particular comment there, she said, "Oh, Eleanor, I can't." She just started to crawl, and I can't leave her on the ground because there's too many ants and dust. She gets too dirty. There's no floor. So I had to put her in the trailer or the tarpaulin so she can learn to crawl. And it was amazing. Yeah,
it is amazing.
It's amazing all those stories that are coming out. But then they were out there for about 18 months, and Dad did a huge amount of work. And he come back in and asked elders to finance him to put some sheep out there, and they wouldn't finance him. So he's scratching his head there, and all of a sudden the family decided to sell Bandya. Sell the.
Why? What was the reason behind?
It's just
Bandya?
well, they weren't up there. It was just too expensive. The manager they had up there at the time just about sent them all broke, I think, and just spending too much money, too costly. So they decided to put it on the market. So Dad heard this, then he went across and talked to his uncle who had married. Celia Hill, which is Dad's father's sister. Old Billy Cock, who used to own the Agnew pub. Anyway,
have you heard of him?
No, I never heard of him.
Okay.
But I know that.
Bit of an icon.
Yeah, the old Agnew. Well, Tommy Cock, his brother, used to run that after Billy died, and Tommy Cock took over after that. But anyway, Dad went over and asked him would he finance him to buy the station, but he said, "Yeah, I'll finance you," because he's heavily involved in mining, the Emu mine at Agnew and all this sort of thing. Anyway, so he financed him, but Billy wanted 50%, and Dad, his mother, and his brother at the time took the other 50% up, and Dad and Mum actually bought Don's share out at a later date. So that's when we all moved back to Bandya, and that's
the whole family.
The whole family, yeah.
Yeah, well, I come along a bit later, but yeah, there was 10
I'm
of
nearly
us.
70 now. Well, another year off it yet, but anyway. So anyway, that went on. That went really well. Dad come back. Basically the station would have been only developed probably a bit over half. The station was developed, and it was, as I say, cattle
How big's the station, mate?
Well, it's 1 million acres.
Million acres.
1 million acres, yes, yeah. And had 70.
How do you look after that? No helicopters back then?
Well, I think Dad
old
used
Land
to
Rovers
ride.
and motorbikes, that's all.
And
know.
Dad, Dad used to ride a bit too in his younger
like-
day, ride horses.
Yeah. No, they had a team of horse, about 30, sometimes up to 40 horses there, to roaming around, mainly for mustering and stuff like that. But they used to go out, walk around originally back there in the early days on the horses doing the windmill run. But as time got developed, went on, and they've got the vehicles coming in, then they extended the waters, so they could get out and check them. But you used to do it in a week, the run, like you'd have a certain run, you'd run around sort of to check the windmill, like I'm on a station now, we do a windmill run that's 180 k's round. You've got about 5 windmills, 5 waters on it. So anyway, you work it in. You do, you can do one run this day and go do another run the other day, and you'll find out a windmill bucket's gone, so you have to check the other one and come back and fix the mill. And you never.
And that's just for pushing water around the station.
Yeah. Well, we had 75 water points, which they were all windmills on them at the time.
Yep.
And
Would have been a lot of fencing for that too, Paddy.
there's over 500 mile of fencing on the property when we left. Yeah. Now, when we left, we had an average there. We had between 12 and 15,000 sheep on the property and 1,000 head of cattle on Bandya. But the highest we ever saw there was 19,600, and then 580 bales of wool.
How long did it take to shear that many sheep?
About 6 weeks. Yeah, we had
19,000 head of.
Yeah.
Holy heck! But you'd get people in to obviously get shearers, contract shearers, and how many contract shearers would come in, and where would you house them?
We had a 6-stand shed in the tin shacks that we built.
Real good bloody
there was no dongers air conditioned them days. It was just a old cyclone bed and a mattress chucked on it there.
Wow. What about showers and bloody dunnies?
Yeah, no, we had to shower the old donkey heater. Someone had to keep the old donkey heater going.
Light the fire.
Yeah, put the fire underneath the 44 and heat
There's a lot of whinging out in mining at the moment with, piss poor food. People are complaining about leaky roofs in a donger.
No,
it's just another era. It really is, isn't it? Like
it is.
Yeah,
It was just
that's
normal
breeding
them
tough.
days.
That's breeding tough bloody tough people back then, right?
Yeah, like it just it was just. But life was just simple. It wasn't like there was no time. You didn't know what day you never kept track of days or anything. Just every day. What you don't get done today, you got to get done tomorrow type thing. But
I've got that mentality at work.
Yeah.
There's always another day. There's always another sandwich to eat in the crib room.
Well, what about some of your childhood memories, Pat? Growing up and helping Dad and mustering on the station, schooling, and you're talking about how big it was and the contract mustering and shearing teams that come in. What about yourself? Like, how did you find the experience of growing up and some of your more memorable moments?
I want to know about you. I want to know about when you get to when you got to school. Where were you doing school out there? Well, take us back to the early years, as Hilly said. But I'm interested in what schooling was like growing up.
Yeah, well, I'll never forget when Charlie Prudhoe brought in the pedal radio, or the pedal radio they call it. It wasn't pedal, but it was run by a 12-volt battery. And that was the old Traeger RFDS radio that was set up there. And we used to do and I went on the School of the Air, Kalgoorlie School of the Air. Had people from the Nullarbor right down to Southern Cross, Narrabeen on there, right up to just out of up north of Laverton there, out Wanganoo and Bandya and all those properties. But the School of the Air had half an hour sessions every day. So you might have maths Monday, and then you'd have science on Tuesday. Then
just over the radio?
Over the radio, yeah. And they'd have different grades. And there's only one or two people or teachers in the Kalgoorlie School of the Air here that used to run that. So you'd have grade 2 on for half an hour, maybe in the morning from 8:30 till 9 o'clock, and then she'd bring in grade 7 or 6 in there, and then they'd do their work. And it was interesting. Then at 7 o'clock, you'd have a radio sked, like RFDS radio sked for half an hour on the same channel. Then at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock was RFDS radio skeds where you'd have telegrams coming in. So there was no telephone out there. There was nothing. So this was like the only communication you had.
Like a HF radio.
A HF radio, or VHF radio.
VHF.
It was, yeah. Anyway,
what's obviously they're teaching remotely.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What sort of feedback they're getting?
Oh no, it was quite well. It was all.
So they're not communicating.
But they can talk back.
Oh, they can.
It's like
They
like
talk
a
back and
two-way.
forth, just like a normal radio.
Like, did you understand that equation over? And then they would go, yes, I understand that, miss, over. And that's how you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. We had a bloke.
You didn't have any of that carry on, eh?
No carry on, no.
That's crazy. That's wild.
It is
That's
wild.
Imagine learning like that.
I'll never forget. I got out there one day and my teacher was Mr. McGaggy. Peter McGaggy was the first bloke.
Oh, well, I'll try and find a picture of him, get Dimitri to chuck him in.
And I'd have this microphone, this aluminium microphone. You press it on the top, and you put it up, and you'd be reading. It said, "Good morning, Mr. And I'd get the stutters, Mr. McGiggy, Anyway, I couldn't get it out. Anyway, and then you put it up like this, you'd be reading, and the damn thing would give you electric shock across the top of your lip, and like that, you know.
Really?
But anyway, read it, yeah, like static electricity or something, you know.
No bloody test tag
But-
in the back then.
No.
Another day, I'll never forget that one of the kids, I don't know who it was, but someone went in there and there's a switch up there. If you didn't press the mic on the thing, there's a switch. You switch across mic and off mic and on mic, you know. You'd say over, you'd say. But anyway, Mum was sitting in there and I was sitting in there. Patrick, I don't know what's wrong with this. You know, this radio can't do it. It's not turning on or anything like this. And what have you bloody kids done? You know, all this sort of stuff, you know.
This is what Mum's
Going
saying.
off, you know,
Because
she's
Mum
going
used to be
off,
like
you
a
know.
tutor.
Oh, yeah.
She would be
And
there, yeah.
9 o'clock before the session, you know, it was right. Charlie Prudo was there and all this sort of stuff. And you looked up, oh, the microphone was on. She switched it on. Everyone in the network was listening. You know,
Mum
Charlie,
going off.
and Mum, oh God, sorry. And Peter, Charlie Prudo said, oh my God, that sounds as if you're having a hard day up there, Maureen. The kids, you know, switch.
It must have been hard. Like, what a time.
Yeah,
You know,
but there was a different.
What year was that?
Oh, when I was
Through the
65,
60s?
Yeah, the early 60s. I was born 56.
Do you reckon it was lonely for your mum?
No, never lonely. It's just you always did. The life was full. It really was. I know
She
it's
used to
hard
have family go
imagine
up.
that. It was though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mum used to have her sisters come up at times. And
Yeah,
that,
every
from
they
Kalgoorlie.
had the sisters and there's Robin Hill and Robin Bowden and Eileen and Teresa Cable and there's quite a few people come up to help. You know, because
Relation to Jason Cable?
Yes.
Yes.
Teresa
Yeah,
Cable, really?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jason Cable speaks very highly of you, Pat.
oh, no,
Yeah,
he's a nice
yeah.
chap. He's a good chap.
Yes.
Jason really
He says the bloody same about you.
That's good. But
What about what about go?
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, we grew up there, and the first, I did schooling there. And I used to always go with Dad on the, whether it be in the vehicle, and I learned to drive, get the motorbikes.
How old do you reckon? How old were you driving a car?
I don't know. Well, I hadn't left school. I probably would have been 12 or something like that. And as soon as your feet could hit
reach.
the floor, press the floor for the clutch, that was it. You're in the vehicle.
You're in the vehicle,
And I'll
yeah.
never forget, took Dad's prime Land Rover out one day, and old Brian Jennings was with me, showing me where to go, how to drive, 6 punches in the one day, eh? And Land Rover ones too. You had to take them off
split
the
rim.
rim. You had to, bend them. Yeah, old Brian Jennings, he, come on with that boy, you run over too many stumps. Oh, that's some funny times, eh? I tell you what, really. And another time there, because I used to take all the Aboriginals out when they knock off in the afternoon. They come in.
What were they doing out there? Working?
Oh,
Helping
yeah, no,
workers
mustering sheep and mustering cattle. Yeah, as I say, it's always something. Whether we going out even cutting posts, for the fencing.
Were they living out with you?
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then?
yeah. I liked when we had camps for them, and houses, all that for them, and
Awesome.
they had all their kids and women out there, and when we were young, school, every afternoon, because I had me Barty picked and billy can, and then as soon as Mum would say, okay, school's finished about 3:30, gone. Grab the Barty pick and the billy can, me and Ellie, and of course the ladies, the Aboriginal women, come on, Pat, we'll go out, we'll just go dig the Barties and honey ants, and
the Barty grubs.
Barty grubs.
yeah, silky pears, yeah. Barty grubs are big grubs, they're about that bloody long, thick as your finger.
Is it sickly pears? What's
Silky.
Yeah,
silky
pears,
pears. Yeah, that's right.
But that was great. I love that, And the thing is about it, you're so fit, not like these days, but running
You look
everywhere.
all right, mate.
Running everywhere,
this
all
bloke.
that good bush protein in you, It was honey ants and squeeze them in and bring them all home and put them on our toast and
Clean living, I guess.
Yeah, wow.
They'd
No
get an
sugar
emu
and-
and sit down and have an emu or anything like that, have a big feed, and you come home and you couldn't eat tea then, you're full. But anyway,
Different kind of bush chook to what everyone's
Oh,
getting ripping
yeah.
into these days, eh?
But then you'd come home with the old 32-volt lighting plant running home, and then because Dad would be camped out lots of times doing fencing and all this sort of stuff, and we'd be home and with the old light getting dimmer and dimmer, had batteries, and anyway, no fly-wire doors or anything. You get these bats flying in, the bats flapping around. You're running around with broomsticks and brooms trying to hit this bat, and Mum would be screaming and carrying on and try to get away from it. Yeah, you had all this. You had snakes and frogs and everything coming in.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
But those are the days. So they're good days.
Pat, tell me about. I've heard a few stories about your old boy, and you can jump in on this too. So never want. And Hilly is very much the same. it's waste not, want not. So
Oh,
your old boy
absolutely.
wanted to make sure that nothing ever went to waste.
Yeah, well, it's brought up in a really tough times where there's wasn't much money around, and you had to make do with what you got, and whatever whatever you could salvage, you made do with. Like that's only the way he kept them places. Especially tanks and steel and like all this sort of stuff, posts and pipe work and of course you're right out there. It's not just like you can get stuff up on overnighters. It'd take you a month to get things up there. There was a dirt road from Broad Arrow right through to Laverton, all dirt. And we'd only come down once every 12 months or so, and
To the big smoke?
To the big smoke.
to the big smoke. And we had
Well, that's
the
it.
big
Before
smoke there,
traffic lights, mate.
And
Yeah.
the only way you get it up there is on the train, which is to Malcolm or Leonora. And then you'd have the transport bloke go across once a week to Laverton. Old Charlie Cable used to do it, actually, and
Another
bring it
cable.
across to Laverton.
Relation to Jace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
And
It's the
And he
family
bring-
that just keeps giving.
It is.
but that's the only way you get up. You might get up one this week or next in a couple of weeks. So you had to keep things going.
Yep.
So that's how it sort of got you. It's actually you get just the way you live. It's you.
And it
you do
is, and it's also a bit of a mode of survival too. Like he was very conservative with water. Whenever we went anywhere, then you
Oh, yeah,
always had to have
very,
lots of
yeah.
water. You have at least 2 spares, and your food was managed to make sure that if you did run into trouble, you had backup. But with Patrick and I and the rest of the family have obviously over the last month or so embarked on tidying things up and cleaning up the assets of mum and dad and just going through some of the stuff and going, wow,
There you go.
some of the stuff he saved is from another era. It's really, it's amazing what he did keep.
You've got some photos of it that of the scale of what he kept.
Well, I've got my drone. I was going to put it up in the air. Get
We need a
picture.
drone shot.
I'll send
Really?
It's enormous, I tell you.
Yeah, it's
The areas.
So that's a massive project. Are you selling? Are you
Yeah,
selling
we are.
some of
We-
the
we-
gear? Are you?
We are putting
like,
a lot of stuff together. A lot of stuff. Some of the rubbish is all going at the tip, but like pipes and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, we're going to put them all up. Obviously, some stage. If that no one wants them, we just put them in the scrap bin and send them for scrap metal. But we're trying to avoid that as much.
Someone
as
told me
possible.
there's some bloody really nice old cars out there, some nice old automobiles.
Oh,
and-
lots of Land Rovers. You got the old Chev,
Yeah, there's
the
some-
old Chev, the old 50. That'd be early 50 Chev.
50 Chev,
Chev
yeah,
truck.
1927 Chev.
Yeah, it is 1927. Yeah.
We've got a couple of old Dodge trucks and that, but it's obviously there's discussions to be had with the family and everything about when
Yeah.
we do end up with
Yeah, for sure.
getting rid of a lot of the stuff that doesn't need to be kept. But I think it's just even working with Patrick and the rest of the family and that after mum and dad's passing, it's kind of reconnected us all a bit as well
has.
too, hasn't it? Like
Yeah.
brought up a lot of memories about our own childhood growing up and the things we used
the
to get up
yarns
to.
you guys must
Yeah.
have out
Yeah.
there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
photos, enormous photos there. What we're doing is getting this box of photos. They're going right back, and we're putting them, scan them all, so and give them all the family a copy of it.
Well,
So
I said to Hilly
Yeah.
that at the funeral of it was beautiful, like
Yeah.
such a sad time, and it would be stressful for you guys. But sitting there in the church, what church is it there?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's down
Yeah.
down the road. When those photos came on, what a beautiful life of both your mum and dad,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they
to
were.
pass within a couple of weeks of each other.
yeah,
Such a sad time, but those photos and whoever put that together from those black and white ones,
yeah.
right through from when they first bloody started and all the way through to the end. Oh, beautiful magic. They look like they had you guys
A
know.
full life.
They had a full life. They had a full,
they did.
beautiful life, but hard.
Yeah, it was hard. I've never, ever in my life seen another man like the way Dad used to work. Oh, he
beautiful.
never stopped. Never stopped. Absolutely. When he's up there on the station, you're up at daylight and you're gone and you're not home till dark, and every day, just full on, absolutely. And a lot of, I know there's people said, too hard, your work is too hard, Peter, I'm gone. So, they walk back to Laverton, some of them. But others have stopped there, it's just how you are, where you are.
Yeah.
But it was good. Life was full. It was a wonderful life. I really loved it out there.
Beautiful.
So, Pat, once leaving Bandya and the family shifted into Laverton, Yeah, what happened then? I mean, you weren't on the station, so what happened with work and the next steps in your life?
Yeah, well, the family decided to sell Bandya in 1974, and that was a pretty big drama in that as well. But anyway, well, we moved into Laverton in 1974, and Poseidon had just started in 1970, and Laverton was a brand new town, and just it was a residential town, built similar on the same context as Tom Price, because they're going, rather than cross streets, it was a ring road around and put everything in the centre to keep it safe for young families to bring their kids up there, and families up there. So anyway, we moved in, and I went actually driving on the grader for a while on the Shire, did the Warburton Road out there for a couple of times, and went right out to nearly the Warburton Graden with the old 12E grader. Me and Alfie Sullivan and Robert Sullivan, and the Sullivan family was an Aboriginal family in Laverton, still there today.
Wow,
and
awesome.
And anyway, I love that too. It was good. It was good to just get out the bush. And anyway, saved up and went for. Then I come back in and had Then I sort of got this job on the mine out at South Windara, and they were chasing drillers out there. It's the open pit at South Windara, which is connected to Mount Windara, part of the Poseidon nickel. And after that went to Western Mining. But so I went as a driller there in the bottom of the pit, and oh my God, some of the times we had there, you'd rock out having a party in Laverton and walk down. Well, you couldn't do it today, but you'd walk down, staggering down, and on the bus and go straight out there and straight down the pit on the drill. And
No breatho back then, brother.
50-degree heat there, and water and dust going everywhere all over you, and you'd be like a zombie throwing these steels up, and come about 2 o'clock, you'd say, oh, where am I? By 5 o'clock, you want to get back into it again, and stupid me used to do it all the time, Anyway, but those are great. Met a lot of great people there. Anyway, that went on for a while, and then I used to get, the dust was too much for you, so I went driving dump trucks and graders and all that then for Roach Brothers and Euclid Trucking, and then that went for a while. Then I went over east, over to worked on they finished their contract at South Windara. Then I went across to Victoria. Me and my brother Greg went over there with them to Thompson River Dam job out of Melbourne. We went on to that for about 12 months, and then met a good mate over there, which I still keep contacting him today. Then he said, look, they're looking for someone to come down to Tasmania, doing the same thing. So I went down there with him and saw the biggest snowfall they had in 20 years. Never seen snow before, but it's wonderful. Love it. Anyway, so then, my girlfriend then, Terry, my wife, now, she came over and, of course, Dad and Mum, I hope you two aren't living together. I said, oh, no.
Different time, mate.
Anyway, the job finished. Went from where I was on the Macintosh Dam, then I went up to Georgetown on the Curry's River Dam and, helping with Roach Brothers. Anyway, that job finished, so I decided to come home. So anyway, come back to Laverton, and then I got a job in the power station at Windara. Ended up being an engine driver out there for a couple of years, and then they were sinking shafts at Landsfield and Windara, and they wanted winder drivers, so I went for my winder driver's ticket at Camboulder on the Silver Lake, the long shaft and the Durkin shaft, and did my training down there and went winder driving for 13. I was with Western Mining for 13 years to the day.
Wow.
And
good company to work for?
Western Mining, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, Western Mining.
I found them really.
Yeah.
I done my apprenticeship with Western Mining. It was really good.
So
especially
they were good. It's 8-hour shifts. It was good. But then I got into prospecting, and so I'd work night shift and afternoon shift, and then go out prospecting. And I'd
How'd you go?
Knock off. Oh, did all right until someone stole it all, but we got it back. Thank goodness. Yeah, that was a drama and a half in that one. I used to go out in the morning. I'd time it. I'd knock off 8 o'clock, get home 8:30, say hello dear, goodbye, and that, and then go out on the dozer with my mate, and we'd go to and he had the old Garrett Grand Dogs then. But anyway, we'd doze. I'd knock off at 3 o'clock, have a beer on the way home. Oh, I shouldn't say that, I suppose, but just have a couple, and then to bed at 4 o'clock. Set the alarm for 11:30, and straight back out to work.
Wow.
But anyway, it was good. You only have a couple, to put you to sleep. But anyway, what happened? Just getting back to the gold bit. This my mate, we were down there detecting and had this wine cask. It was full of nuggets and samples, and what we kept them all there. We were, you get blue quartz with the gold, you get black ironstone, you get white quartz, and we had it all. So we're trying to track up the source, when we're picking it up, and we had quite a lot of gold. Anyway, I come down there one day, and my mate, Tony, he's had a few beers or a few drinks with the whiskey with these prospectors. You always get prospects that come through that don't show anyone, Anyway, Tony said, no, I haven't shown anyone. Anyway, they went away for this couple from Queensland. Anyway, they went away for a couple of days. Then they come back, and he went down there. I got down the next day, and he had a bit of a hangover. I said, "You didn't show them the gold, did you?" I said, He said, "They're all right. I did show them, yeah." Anyway, and I said, I should take it home. But anyway, so I left it there. Anyway, did a bit more. And anyway, I went down the following afternoon. He was down there during the day. That's right. I went down in the after work. Anyway, and anyway, I was at work on the wine. I had another mate there, two of us on there that day. Anyway, he came and he rang up and said, Pat, they've stole the gold. They've got it, the whole lot. I said, oh my God, don't tell me that. So I jumped straight on the RFDS radio. I knew all the stations. Rang the police were coming down from Warburton, the Amberdale Highway.
They had the gold Ds back then?
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah, they did. We notified them, and they notified the police of Wiluna, Menzies, Leonora, Sandstone.
How much gold, Pat? How much gold? How much do you reckon?
20 ounces? 50 ounces?
A bit more, about 60 ounces. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Anyway,
why? Why are we just keeping it in a wine cask?
Oh, that because they're trying to trace up where it come from.
So you're piecing it together like a jigsaw,
Yeah. We had a graph, this had a bit of blue quartz, that had black quartz, and that we're still picking the black quartz up there, like you're trying to source it, trying to get to a pinpoint to where to trace it from to get that rock. Anyway, we notified everyone around the Goldfields, everyone was on the radio and all the stations. Anyway, 3 hours went by and Tony's, sweating away and yes, anyway, 4 hours went by and the police, the gold squad had been notified. Anyway, they're driving out of Kalgoorlie here, right opposite the two up turn off. The car was coming into Cal, and I turned around, pulled the car up, and all the gold was sitting on the seat, so we got it all back.
Lucky.
12-ounce piece was the biggest one. But, oh, Jesus, I tell you what, that was. And Tony just come on and said, when we got it back, said, Pat, you take your share, I'm gone. So that's it. So no more for me.
What did you do with yours?
I still got a bit of it. Yeah, for the kids, yeah.
Tell me it's in a safe, Pat. It's not in a bloody wine cask.
No, it's in a safe, mate.
Yeah, thank God for that.
It's absolutely locked away.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of prospecting, Pat, and obviously been a big part of the Goldfields has been in your blood, and vice versa. You've been integrated into all the communities around the place. So what are you doing now? What are you up to these days? So you're obviously been on the Shire of Laverton for quite some time.
Yeah, I got grading that road out there, the Great Central Road, and around the Shire. I really enjoyed the bush, but there's something about that Great Central Road, and when you grade it out there, it's more than a road. And I just love that country out there. But anyway, what I saw is, at the time, I got elected on the council in 1992 because when Western Mining finished out there, they finished about 1992, and when they finished, I got the interest in council. I bought a grader myself and doing contract grading, and I decided to go on it. And the interest, and at the time, they don't do it now, but at the time, Laverton was on the outskirts. It was a mining town and a closed sort of mining town, and down here, the tourism and that was all through the centre going north and out that way. And I've seen what happened. I've seen Laverton with 2,000 people, and I've seen Laverton with 250 people in it. And it was shocking. It was a beautiful little town with 2,000. You had two football teams and cricket and a lot of social interaction, and especially with the 8-hour shifts too. and Laverton was sort of going from a closed mining town to a town in its own right.
Yep. Yep.
And when at the time, Granny Smith had just sort of started. They wanted to build their camp in Laverton, but the time the Lands Department released the land because the Shire didn't have any land itself to sell, it took 5 years. And in the meantime, Granny Smith couldn't wait, so they went out there and built on the side of the mine site out there. But anyway, so the town went right back, and I got on council, and I used to come down here to Murray Thomas was the president then at the time. Used to come down to the tourism meetings here, and it was all about Kalgoorlie Boulder and all the the Goldfields, which is good. There's no problems about that. But Laverton was on the outskirts, so we had to get something. Like mining's great while it's happening, but mining comes and goes. It's up and down. You flow with it. So tourism is if tourism done right, you'll always have that income into the town, which obviously everything thrives. It might be seasonal, that doesn't matter. So I saw the opportunity of this road could, if we link into Alice Springs and maybe across into Queensland, well, it'd be, we'd see it's good for Laverton, permanent. But Laverton shouldn't go back to a ghost town, which they thought it was going to be. So anyway, and we weren't part of the mix here, in the Goldfields either, because of the way the situation was.
Just the way you're geographically separated.
Yeah. It was just, and look,
You weren't getting any help from local councils or anything else?
Not really, no, not
You're
really, no.
You're fighting for
you're
local
by
government
yourself.
out there.
Yeah, you're by yourself. Even the government, like today, looking at it, because I didn't know much at the time, but the government gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. And the auction, when Broughton come up there to sell the town, they sold Western Mining at Windara, then they went to Landsfield, then they come into town. The whole town, there was over 200 houses in town, and of the 200, Western Mining owned 120, and 65 of them were sold and went out of town, transportables. And left gaps and,
so basically
everywhere.
a third of the town
just stripped it. Ripped it, tore it to bits. Anyway, so we've got to do something. So I just got on council in 1992, 94. They let me go over. I saw this, the Australian local government in Canberra wanted to hold a congress. Normally before, it was just like, WA, South Australia, Queensland would get the executives and meet once a year,
I heard about this.
But then what they wanted to do is hold a congress. So I said, and I heard there's one motion in there. They got a copy of all the motions sent out, and one motion there where it says that the Australian local government support Australia becoming a republic. Well, that just hit my nerve, because if it ain't broken, you don't fix it, as far as I'm concerned. And so, I'd never, and I don't want lawyers to ever touch our constitution, rip it up and start again, because God knows what it'll end up like. But no way that, and look, the monarch done wonderful, good things. It's a good government, good system, I reckon, anyway. So anyway, I was going to go over and vote against that, but when I got over, they pulled the motion out, because bringing politics into local government is a no-no. So anyway, I saw the opportunity there, and I met quite a few people from Queensland and all that sort of stuff. So I come home and I said to them, well, let's put this road up, put this motion up. We put a motion up to this next year. So that's what we did. We put the motion, and I went up to that we upgrade this road from Laverton to Brisbane. And so I went up through Illaroo, Ayers Rock to Earl Dunda, where you go on the Lassiter Highway to meet the Stewart Highway. So we went straight across to Brisbane, new road. So anyway, took that, and that, anyway, when I got over there, because we drew that's the map that was took there. Anyway, got over there, and that motion it came up, but Tasmania jumped up. Someone from Tasmania jumped up and built an amendment to it where they said they want to put the Tasmanian Sea Link from Melbourne to Tassie, which is basically a bridge from Melbourne to Tasmania. They wanted added on. They got this amendment added on to by.
That's wild.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never knew this.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So I'm learning something new here too.
Beautiful.
John.
They wanted to build a bridge to Tasmania.
Well, my motion was calling for the Australian local government to assist the Shire of Laverton to get money to develop this road from Laverton through to Brisbane.
So it's not, is this 90? When was this?
This was 96.
30 years ago.
95.
95.
Yeah, 95 it was. 1995. So anyway, so I'd come home and stewed all on that for 12 months, and bugger them. I'll take that same motion back again, but I'll take this amendment out, which it got up without the amendment. But whilst I was there, and we sort of And what used to happen when I got that motion up, I'd go to they have a big dinner there in the big hall in Parliament House. So you go in there, you say, politician there, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was going to catch up with a whole lot of them. Of course, you go, do you mind if I join you? And of course, you give you red wine and red wine and red wine. And anyway, it was a bit of a night. Anyway, we used to have a few of them. But anyway, I got back to the motel.
I guess that's networking,
And,
right?
That's networking. They do it right here. I was a few months ago. I was out in that corner.
Well, yes, cheers. We're
I
still
was out
doing
there
it.
in the corner having a good old time.
Yeah,
Gin
you
and
got
tonics.
it.
That's what you do. You're
You got a
networking.
network.
Yeah, anyway, I got back to my motel. I was in the Canberra International and down at the bar, and a couple of the Queensland blokes come over from Bully and Winton. I said, Pat, we're talking about Bruce Collins and Ron McGlinchey, great people, top people, just bush people, Anyway, come over, I said, Pat, what about, instead of going straight across from Earl Dundo, how about come up through Alice Springs and across through the Plenty Highway to Bully and Winton? I said, bloody oath, mate, of course, yeah. So anyway, absolutely. So we talked there and anyway.
The idea was born.
Yeah, the idea was born there.
So
anyway,
1995, the idea was born.
Yeah.
And when did you first get money out of the government?
Yeah, well, I just finished a little one.
Sorry, mate, go.
I don't know what happened. We because I shut the bar then, so come back to my room, and because they had all
Where every good bloody deal is struck.
their wives were all with them, and they wouldn't want to go to bed. And I didn't have everyone in my room, so come over there. We'll go have a beer. So my mate says, "Oh, do you mind if I invite my other couple of mates down?" I said, "Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, bring them over, as long as they bring a beer, So anyway, we got down there and drinking, and then 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then we started arguing about this Republic thing. Yeah. And I was really getting, we were arguing, and these other couple of blokes come in and
who was the Prime Minister at the time?
Keating.
Nah, I don't.
That's going back, isn't it?
No, so obviously.
Yeah. Well, I know. I went up and saw Senator Mary Crawford. She was a secretary or the assistant transport minister. But anyway, that's going back a bit. That's when I started. But anyway, so next day I had this appointment with this transport minister up in Parliament House. So I went down about 8:30, 9 o'clock it was, and I went down to the conference, and Ian Mickle and Preston Thomas were there. Ian Mickle, President of the Esperance Shire, and Preston Thomas from Nanajaraku. And they said, I've got to go and see this minister. I'll just go see if we can get some money for this road. Oh, do you want us to come up with you? I said, yeah, come up with us. So anyway, we got up there and sitting in there, and I have a look down, and I thought, God, they had a newsletter there. And I said, that face is familiar. Next thing, oh my God, what's the transport minister who was in my room the night before? And I was going off. Senator Ian McDonald. Yeah, he was there. I said, come on, you come back, you go up on the beers. I said, no, mate, I want some money for the road. Oh my God, he'd never forgot that.
Awesome.
Great bloke.
That's what it's all about, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody oath.
This is how some of these stories
And
start.
look, he done so much for that, to get that money, et cetera. And he's the only one that's actually travelled from Cairns to Perth, right across the road, all the way. And he was a minister for the weather bureaus at the time, so he checked on the Giles weather station. And everything at the
You don't want
time.
to be the minister for the Weather Bureau right now. Not
Yeah.
with, $96
Oh,
million
yeah, no, I wouldn't like to be that.
No,
minister.
that's
that
another
bomb
story.
Website, but, hey, that's nothing.
But anyway, yeah, so that we come home and then the motion was passed. So then I had my first AGM in 97, and that's when I was elected chairman, and that's we had the Bully of Winton Shire and the town of Alice Springs and the Nanajaraku Shire of Warburton and Laverton. And I've had quite a big gathering there, the first one. And since then, we formed our Outback Highway Council, which is basically a lobby group on behalf of the 5 local governments, financial local governments. That's what we are. So we've got no delegated authority or anything, but we just go lobby for the funding. And since that, we've had several, we've produced a book with a history of it the last 25 years. And we've raised $1.2 billion for the road, to seal the road. The road, total length of the road from Laverton to Winton.
That's what you've spent so far?
No, that's what we've raised.
What you've got commitment for.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations, Pat. That's bloody ripper.
Yeah, well, we've got what's happened? They've only got about 50 k's to do in Queensland,
Yep.
and another what's the name in Northern Territory? They've got about 220 k's on the Plenty Highway to seal, 117 on the 117 on the
Nice.
Chukantura Road, and the which is the Docker River section,
Okay.
and the and Wadawal WA 734
Wow.
k's to go. But
Why is that so much on the WA side?
yeah, well, it's
Oh.
a long story.
I'll let you
no,
finish.
no, it's okay. Well,
Is it in here?
The $1.2 billion is the 20% state and territory, and plus what the Commonwealth government's given us. And with, as I say, it's taken us 20. We've been there since '97, raising that money. Now, what's happened is Queensland's going right ahead, Northern Territory's going ahead, and WA, we've out of the 840 kilometres from Laverton to the Northern Territory border, we've sealed about 135. The last time the last sealing we did was 4 years ago. And since then, we've been tied up with native title issues. And basically, the Shire did a 50-kilometre section out there on the from 440 k's out, coming back this way 4 years ago, and 5 years ago, sorry, over 5.5 years ago. And we spent, we got a grant there, 16 million. We spent that, we've developed 50 kilometres of road, of seal road, 8 metres wide, built to Australian standards. So it's like going from here to Leonora or whatever, like it's built to Australian standards. Had a cost us $330,000 a kilometre.
Wow.
The last lot, the main roads and the contractor earth moving group, and also there was Carey Mining involved, training the Aboriginal people, which is
awesome.
great.
Yeah. That's
And,
a good
that-
operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Daniel
Tucker.
Daniel Tucker, yeah.
Great bloke,
Another
absolutely.
Laverton family as well.
Is it
the
really?
Tuckers,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. But we've been working closely. That was $630,000 a kilometre. But now it could be up to 1.5 bill a kilometre now to get things
Just
done.
on inflation, just on
just
rising.
on extra costs. But now, like what we've got, we out of that 1.2 billion, there's 604 million set aside for the Great Central Road, which won't finish it. But
How many years do you reckon, Pat, to complete that?
well,
Has anyone estimated? Look, if we keep going the way that we're going, 4 years is a bit of a stop. Isn't it?
it's like
And what do you think that needs to be done to speed up the process?
Well,
You've
what's
got to be
happened-
respectful. Native title. I
Yeah.
understand native
Yeah, no,
title.
yeah.
Everyone needs to be respectful, but at the same time, what's putting the stop in there?
Well, what's happened? What's happened is it's just bogged down in bureaucracy. Just to be simple about it. All the proponents out there, native title proponents, want it. There are things like they want training, they want to be involved in employment, which is great.
As
and
any-
there's the
as
social
anybody
side of
would.
it. And it's going to, it's going to have some detrimental things, but overall, the more positive things will be, for them out there. They want to put motels out there,
Accommodation.
restaurants,
Get the roads finished
yeah,
first.
restaurants.
Right?
Well, that's right. With
Well-
the road going through, that assists all that.
Yeah,
So
for
Well, what's
sure. But you
happened?
can't be pulling the bloody horse before the cart.
Yeah, well, see what happened when we done our $16 million. The next allocation of funding was 46. But we could what we needed to do. We needed to be paid like Roads Recovery, the Shire. So we put 40% up front in our bank. Then when it runs out, we get the other 40%. Then when we quit it, we get the final 20. And that's what we wanted to do. But anyway, so we sent Main Roads a bill for $16 million, and the CEO at the time said, that'll come up around the table here pretty quick, which it did, only about a week. They went straight out and had a look at the job, what we'd done, the 50 kilometres we'd done out there. They came back and said, look, perfect. We couldn't do any, we couldn't do any better than that. So
fantastic.
So then, what happened then was we said we can do two things. We'll give you the money. You do all the clearances. You do all the surveys. We've got the design and all that. You do the whole job, tendering and all that. Or you can hand the whole project to us, still your project, still your road, but we'll project manage the whole thing. And that's what happened. So, we handed it to Manajara, Shire and Laverton. So then that's what they did the next 40 kilometres out of Laverton, which added to 52 kilometres. So anyway, so the next thing, since then, the native title was been lodged on it. When they got to the native title boundaries, that's where it stopped. Now, the idea is to get the IULA agreements, 4 IULA agreements signed up before they could start again, because they didn't want to sort of start and go there and have to stop and, they want everything sorted out before it went forward. And look, the Yulka, the Murrays and all that out there, they've got no problems. They want it to go through. They've actually signed it, but they've got, it's a process that's holding it up at the moment. And hopefully early in the new year, we'll have some resolution on it where we can get this thing underway again. We haven't tried our shire. I went over to Canberra and said to the local main roads representatives here in Kalgoorlie and Perth, the local ones, that because all we're doing is cutting the guts off it. It's just cutting the road off it, which is no good for anything or anyone. So what we want to do is start forming the pre-prep up. Let us do that. And so that we can get something on the road. It's terrible. Anyway, because we get complaints every day about it. We're doing what we can. We're doing what we're allowed to do, to be quite honest. So I went over and said, how about give us 30 mil out of that 60? We can start preparing it. Give a company, some earth moving company, 50 Ks to do, prepare it to a certain design, and then finish that, go on to the next 50 Ks, And the minister said over there, yes. And then when we got back, we wanted to go to the Department of Transport in Canberra, because I always go to the department and let them all know where we are, what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And they all, they want to hear anyway, and it's really good to keep that close cooperated thing there with them. Anyway, we came back and we had another meeting with Main Roads in Perth and, quite a few of the lawyers. They just said, hang off until we get it sorted out. So, and I'll just say it's frustrating.
Yeah, I can sense your frustration.
It just makes you angry, to be honest.
What do you think it's costing, the regions and the communities that it goes through, Pat, and like Laverton and that? What's it costing in tourism, development of mines, and the communities, most importantly, out there that haven't got this road through, and with a 4-year wait? Is it safety? Is it lost money and revenue? Is it just tourism in general? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a lot of things are safety. Safety is the biggest thing, because you've got a lot of government agencies going out into the lands now, and there's rollovers everywhere, and because a lot of people aren't used to gravel roads.
No.
And
a little bit of rain, on some of those roads, and people don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, that's right. Last in 2024 we had that. I don't know what it was, 400 mil of rain out there between
that's right.
The mine site. It was about 130 k's out. Had 1.3 metres of water over the road, and they took about from February through to I think about September, August, when they eventually pumped it out. In the meantime, they had to take truckloads of mill balls to keep the Gruyere actually shut for quite some time, until they started taking the equipment round via the Nullarbor up from Port Augusta to Earl Dundra down through Warburton back, and that was costing at that time $90,000. I've heard the quote $90,000 a kilometre, $90,000 a truckload. Sorry.
Yeah,
to get that stuff around. That's huge,
That's amazing.
It is. And I guess that's. I was going to say you lost me.
No, but the cost of tourism. Well, you weren't getting people going into town. They weren't feeding into the the various places of accommodation in Laverton, and Laverton misses out huge. When the people don't stop there. That's the economic input into the town. That keeps our businesses and people employed, going and employed. So
just to give another road rather than the Nullarbor.
Well, that's
right. That's another thing. I mean, we need the third link across Australia. It's the top of the bottom and nothing through the middle. So we've seen bridges washed out. Up in the Kimberley. We've seen the Eucla inundated with rain. And other things.
The trains stop.
Well, see,
they stop the trains coming over.
On
the Nullarbor.
Exactly. The other thing too is that it's like the Great Northern Highway is subject to cyclonic and weather activity, which has blocked it off. We've all seen that. Having a road direct from Darwin or across from Alice Springs down through here, it's actually short of about 400 kilometres from Darwin to Perth through the centre.
Beautiful, and saving on diesel.
Yeah, and you can bring quads all the way down to Kalgoorlie. Like the other way you can only bring doubles and triples down to, I think, Carnarvon or Geraldton's, where they bring the the triples.
And then
So transport alone is a big saving, and that just getting that. And, quarantine, this is what we've been putting up to get a quarantine station there in Laverton, and overnight stock facilities there with Stockton Park up there also coming into the territory. Over to the west, it's so much. And links in the Jindalee over the horizon radar networks at Longreach, Alice Springs and Laverton, so it's a massive, to go up into the granites and even into Alice Springs, it's a reliable road, and it also feeds the new mining province that is starting up around Warburton, east of Warburton into Wingalina.
What companies are up there?
Well, the BHP have just bought it. Oz Minerals started developing the Musgrave Range project.
Oh,
That's
right.
a $1.7 billion mine ready to go up there. BHP bought off them, and that's ready to go. That's nickel and copper, I think it is.
And cobalt.
Yeah,
Copper would be a ripper.
And we
Yeah,
have Wingalina.
Nickel not so much right now, but
Yeah, and as I said, that's
everyone's screaming for copper.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand that's about a 30-year mine life.
Wow.
And further to the east of that, at Wingalina, you've got the Wingalina project there. Now, that's a nickel and cobalt too, and that's a 40-year mine life. $3 billion to set that up. Until they get this road seal, and they're going to bring all that concentrates of that down to Leonora. At the moment, we've also put in for a feasibility study to get the rail extended from Malcolm across to Laverton, where it used to be, so we could have a marshalling yard there instead of having all these trucks on the road. Get the put all the concentrates on there and ship it out through Esperance or wherever it's going to go. So there's a lot going up there, and this road will bring all that. It'll bring all that back into focus and get these things going.
Well, we spoke about like Kalgoorlie being an intermodal
Mate,
hub, didn't we?
mate,
And you went off about
mate,
that, JC.
I was just that was my last question. That's what I wanted to finish with. Pat, what do you think about a freight hub in Kalgoorlie? They've tried to do it before, haven't they?
There was talk.
No. Sorry.
There was talk.
There was talk about a freight hub in Kalgoorlie.
Yes.
What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that? Hilly and I had a bloody discussion a year ago.
Well,
Exactly a year ago about it. Mate, while I was living in Kalgoorlie, I heard all the stories about, and I asked the question myself, why is there not a freight hub in Kalgoorlie?
Great question. And there was a lot of talk about that, to be honest. A logistical centre where you could send freight north, south, east, and west. It's
Makes
a
sense.
great position. Yeah, for sure. We've got rail coming in from all directions. It's more or less the first major airport, I guess, you got coming from the east, and the last one before leaving WA.
now I haven't really looked. Like it's got to definitely go around Kalgoorlie. I think there's an opportunity there, but what it is a problem, they're not looking at the bigger picture. To make it an intermodal hub work and cost effective, you've got to bring in everything. And I'm talking from Maluna, even to Meekatharra maybe, but at least all the northern goldfields, and especially BHP and all these other ones, put everything on. Like the rail needs to be. The sooner the government buys back the rail, the better for us up there, And we're restricted up there now for rail from the northern goldfields, but without including the northern goldfields, whatever's happening up there in the next 30, 40 years is not going to make this intermodal hub financially viable. They've got to bring us in. They've got to bring in all other aspects of what's going to benefit and who's going to be affected by it to make it work here in Kalgoorlie. I think absolutely. I think it's great. I
always just thought, how ridiculous is it that we're, the trains and the
energy and
trucks,
water. And
everything. That's going to Perth.
Yeah.
From east, it's going to Perth and then bloody...
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
Back to the bloody goldfields.
Well, stuff you bring in from Melbourne and Adelaide and the east across to Perth, and you got to bring it back.
Foodstuffs.
On the road.
Why? Fruit, vegetables, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But you got to look at the bigger picture. You got to bring in not just Kalgoorlie. It won't pay by itself. It's got to bring in the northern goldfields. It's got to bring in everything. The wider, and that's what we asked for actually. I thought this study was going to include us up in the northern Goldfields, but it's not. So, and I don't know really how cost effective it is as it is. It still hasn't come out, so it can't be.
Well, just based on that, Pat, one of the closing questions for me is, what would you like to see happen in the northeastern Goldfields, and particularly the Outback Way, over the next 10, 15, 20 years? Like, apart from the road, what else would you like to see happen up that way?
Well, I'd like to see the I'm hopefully that we can see that road done within the next 5 years.
Okay.
I'm hoping that's what I'm pushing for. And we've got several meetings coming up about that, which I hope we can clarify a lot of that and make things happening. If things are looking good and positive at the moment about that. I'd look, politicians, I reckon politicians should be coming out and living in Laverton.
Wow.
Yeah, put them out there for six, especially the ones on the east coast.
It'd be hard pressed, though, the one for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know who would come out there?
Well, I'm sure.
Pauline Hanson.
She'd wonderful.
She'd be fine
Absolutely.
out there.
Perfect.
She'd run a bloody rip efficient chipping.
Yeah, she would. I'd like to see Justine Elliott and Minister Rishworth out here.
Yep.
Especially on the community side of things, to see how these towns operate. They got no idea. They got no idea what it's
City
like
slickers,
here.
mate.
Yeah. And what they should be doing is giving tax incentives for people to build and live out there in the bush.
Yep.
And it's a good,
Do you
good
think,
environment.
Do you think people nowadays, though, Pat, honestly, do you think people, Hilly, back me up here if I'm wrong, are we living in an era where people are able to handle the hard work of living out there in those remote situations?
Well,
I'll let Pat answer first.
Go, Pat. What do you reckon?
Well,
I reckon no. My answer's, I think people are soft as buggery.
First of all, it's not hard living. It's living.
Yeah.
It's honest living, actually. That's what it is. Now, I asked the same question on the mine site that I asked, that I work at. What would happen if we had 10 houses in Laverton? Would you, and this chap's got a couple of boys, he said, I'd be there tomorrow because I want to get the kids out into that environment, into that,
Clean living.
take them out the bush and learn the honest, easy living. And what we've put up to mining companies we've put up an idea there where we collect $1 an ounce and put it into a foundation, and we use that money for community things, community facilities, and start building some of these houses out of that. And those houses belong to a co-op, and which is linked to the foundation. And so that you can allocate a couple of houses to this mining company, that mining company, that mining company, and then the foundation is a not-for-profit tax, like it's an incentive for the mining companies to put into that, to develop houses, rent the houses, so they're not tied up with the capital, with their
expenditure of it all.
inventory of the mine, So it's there for ever in the day for the town. And $1 an ounce, and they could build it up to, say, 5 or 6 million. And then if they spend 2 million that year, well, they might drop it down to 60 cents an ounce, or whatever, keep it at the dollar, develop the town. But people would go out there. As it is today, they would go out there. But I think if they do go out there, the tax incentives should be to go out there, because you can't all live in the city. They're building billion dollar freeways and stuff, and schools and everything. We've got that all out there. We've got the asset or the basics of it.
Yeah.
So that must be another big thing then. You must take a lot of joy out of watching the Laverton Hospital being built, another facility to bring people out into the Goldfields.
Yeah, well, that's
how long ago was that built?
It's being built.
Oh, it's being built
as we speak.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's that's something we've been lobbying for. Well, it started 15 years ago when we said that the Laverton's a town the government forgot. That was a catchphrase, and because we wanted a hospital, we had marches up and down the street and everywhere around the place, and the Laverton Action Group, and led by Rex Riles at the time, great friend of mine. But anyway, we've been lobbying, and Wendy Duncan, the previous Minister for Kalgoorlie, member for Kalgoorlie, raised it and got into the Colin Barnett government, and they had money there set aside to do it, but they had it subject to winning government again, they didn't win government, and then but now anyway,
Funding
the
was
brand new hospitals there being built there now. It costs about over $60 million, and that's great.
Wow.
Great for the town. And once, as I always said, if the government is investing in the town, that puts confidence back in the town for other people to invest and other organisations, companies to invest.
Yep.
So, but Laverton is a really good positive. They've got a lot of positive outlook for the future. Mining is booming up there at the moment with gold prices. Awesome. And we just want to see it go ahead and develop into a great little town, which it is already. But
Beautiful.
no, it's all good.
Well, Pat, thank you very much. Like I'm rapt to have you here. Well, for us to come here to beautiful bloody Kalgoorlie,
Absolutely.
What a place, the Gold Room. Where are we?
above the gold bar.
Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
I've never been there.
No, neither have I, mate. Neither have I.
But anyway.
But Pat, look, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Hilly, as you know, was the first guest. He was the co-host and first guest on the podcast, and this episode goes live on the 5th of December, and it was the 5th of December last year where our first episode went live. So this is our 1 year birthday. We don't really get on the Cokes and lemonades on any other episode, but today we've had a couple, so there's nothing wrong with that.
It's a special one. And
Bloody I've actually got something else I've actually brought some bloody 1 year birthday gifts.
we love presents, mate.
Yeah,
we love presents.
So, Nick, could you bring me the hats and also those other? Yeah, these are my favourite. So these mean something. Thank you very much. I've got a Eric Hill. You'll know what these are.
Oh, I do.
So that's Warrada Resources.
Wow, that was going right back to one of my first interviews with Amanda from Rorida.
That wonderful.
There's a Gold Room bucket hat, mate. Keep
Oh,
that
that's
bloody sun off the mountain.
fantastic.
And some Warrada Resources socks there. Amanda Buckingham did a great job.
Yeah.
And, a little buy back there. Where's Warrada now? Capricorn.
Yeah, that's the way it's heading, Josh. Another.
Are you still a shareholder?
Oh, look, I can't say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
yes,
I'm not.
yes, I
I had to. I just sell out.
Yeah.
Had to sell out, mate.
No,
Sell
I'm
pass the
keeping
book over. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, thank you so much for that, Josh. I really appreciate that. And absolutely, it'll come getting a bit thin up top there, actually.
I'm not as thin as me, mate.
Hey.
No, I can't remember because I had a sunstroke head once.
Did you?
Blistered on.
Oh, no.
Keep a little bit covered up there. But anyway,
Well, mate, that's exactly what
good.
that's good for.
That's wonderful. But I'd like you to present you one of the book of the first 25 years of the Outback Way.
Beautiful, mate. Thank you very much.
Bull dust to bitumen.
Bull dust to bitumen?
Bull dust to bitumen, mate. Yeah.
Bloody ripper. Thank
Yeah,
you very much, Pat.
congratulations.
Much
Good on
appreciated.
you. Thanks
This will
so
be going
much for-
straight to the pool room.
Straight to the pool room.
Thank you very much.
But no, it's been a great little conversation. And
Well, mate, thanks very much.
thanks, Josh.
Thank you both.
Thanks,
It's
Eric.
great having the bloody
Good on
Hill
you.
family cruiser in with me, hanging out. And it's great to be here in the Goldfields. We talk about it all the time. Home of Paddy Hannon.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a bloody better place.
There, I got same my old number plate. Pat'll do. That'll do.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, everyone, thanks very much for tuning into another episode on the Gold Room podcast. Hope you enjoyed this one. We've got some bloody knowledgeable people here with me, and that's the way we love it. Thanks very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell.